Hola. Alright. Glades of Andron. I'm going to start with these today. Why? Because again, and I've also got a lot of testing of the runes to do too. Hello, friend. Goodbye, friend. Thank you very much for your soul. And goodbye. This rune is absolutely crazy. The hollowing. Absolutely nuts. Alright, let's go get some endless stuff done. I'm very keen to get some of this leveling stuff done. Why? Because I need to. Alright, I need the entrance. Where is it? Eat me. Alright. Hey, bud. Yo, nice. Okay. Goodbye. Goodbye. Alright. Glade time. Where are you? Uh-oh. Hello. Goodbye. Goodbye. Alright. Glades. Glades, glades, glades. We do like the glades. Let's have a look at... Alright, I'm going to try performance on DLSS this time. Maybe, but we'll try it without first. Hello, Gemini. How are you? Welcome and good morning. Boom. Just having a bit of fun with the hollowing rune. It is absolutely sensational. I would stipulate, though, it is a little bit broken, as in when it deletes enemies, it deletes everything they drop. So I'd be very, very mindful of how to use it. I'm sure it will get fixed up a little bit, but we'll see. The Jaden drops? I think, yeah, I think Helix was mentioning that you can get them from the... I think Birdie's Bog, and there's another bog up the very north eastern quarter of the map. But Birdie's Bog is a really, really good farming area for them. Very good. I'm just trying to find an endless glade for now. I don't really like doing it to level, but I think I will this time. I just really want to get the couple of the different new weapons all up and done. So they're all max rank, so I can start doing some rune boosting, level those up, and then start testing all the different runes. Boom. I'm also going to be playing around with the Flit Smoke rune. I really, really like the Flit Smoke, and I really like the Hollowing. They're probably the two strongest runes that we have in the game at the moment. They're both extremely, extremely strong. And speaking of, I think I'm going to switch away from Tethrin because I do need to level up the Siren Pact, I would say, as well. Boop-be-doop-be-doop. Alright. So Tethrin, you are all maxed. Oshelda is maxed. And okay, Wild Siren, there we go. I do gotta check some stuff. Stuff and things. I do have a lot more courage put into this pact for the moment. I'll do the wingspan, because that will help with leveling, I would say. Ooh, Stolten. Okay. Cool. There does seem to be a little bit of a delay with some of the drops in game at the moment, but they're not too bad. Yo, look at that. We stole a whole bunch of stuff. That's pretty good. I'm not really sure if this particular glade will spawn the endless glade, though. But that's okay. It's just kind of fun to run around and just do things. Okay, so I'm gonna go have a look. I think that's the entranceway. Yeah, the other way was the entrance. Alright, well that was a short run glade. Ah, that is a-okay. Are you looking for the J drop for anything specific though, Gemini? Is it for one of the color palettes, the sigils? I'm pretty sure that's what they're called, is the sigils. Oof. Yeah, the color palette. Yeah. Is that one? I think it may be for the Rhiannon or the Epona from the Alka's Children. Rhiannon, I know, comes from the Kith of Kings. Yeah, the Epona, I had a feeling, yeah. I'm gonna go find me some spawnage. I love this rune. It is very good. Really good for decently leveling stuff, and I'm assuming the backstab effect gives us more experience gain as well, which is really nice. Yeah, it definitely does. And again, and again, And another one. Absolutely crazy, this rune. It's absolutely sensational. I got like 3 levels within a few like stabs. That's absolutely nuts. And even running doesn't break the cloaking as well, which is actually quite nice. I now have 4 Koga and a 5th one on the way. Hell yeah, you do. Nice. Yeah, I'll probably be doing a Koga a little bit later. I just want to take a little bit of a break from it at the moment and just level up some of the gear. Especially for the account, but also just to be able to get like the maximum kind of damage outputs for the runes. So I've definitely got quite a few runes to level up. And I really want to test out one of the runes for the sword and board. They are very good. But also just deleting enemies is quite satisfying with the hollowing. Very crazy stuff. The fact that it marks an enemy is really great, but then it just deletes them like that. It's absolutely crazy. And the amount of actual damage from there to over here to delete another enemy is just crazy to me. So let's go do a 3-star. I do want to do a little bit of a play around with the settings though. DLSS I'll keep on, but I'm going to try the medium settings for everything and drop the particle quality just a little bit, just to kind of see how it runs. We'll keep volumetric on for now, but I'll turn off depth of field, motion blur, distortions, glare, film grain, bloom. And we'll probably drop that down to 20. Contact shadows we don't really need. So we'll see how everything runs on the medium settings. So I'll just let that load back in a little bit. So it should give us like slightly easier runtime with the GPU. Yeah, it's definitely a lot smoother. No pun intended. But I do want to do some faction runs though. And also the aiming assist within the game seems pretty good too. It's a lot smoother, which is nice. And I may just play around a little bit with, say, some of the greatswords today too. The greatswords are really, really fun. I do want to test something though with the damage output. What have we got? Unhindered heavy cast that pass through enemies bypass armor. This is a brand new totem that I came across, and it actually seems very good, especially with the heavy cast. But I do want to increase the attack speed, but also the additional smite chance I think will be quite viable. Let's have a look. Deflections bypass, 20% armor. Deflections, okay. So defense against stagger, that's always quite a good one, to be honest. The physical armors are really nice as well. 6 stagger on sprint attack cast. That's actually really cool. I'm going to give this a try. So that's 15 stagger on sprint cast. Okay, that's pretty cool. I have been able to maximize the hollowing rune, which is really crazy. It does drop a lot of my armor down though, so I am very aware of that. So we'll see if we can boost my armor back up just a bit. So Mendicant King set on the chest piece at least is very good. The physical defense is quite good, but you can just squeeze at least just one more point and a little bit more stability from the Arbearer's Brace on the legs. And then just for the helm, I essentially just run the Arbearer's Helm. So predominantly most of the Arbearer set is very good for at least... see, there we go. We got a smite right there. So let's see how much we can delete enemies, basically. So these guys are marked. Wow. So that was probably about 10 meters away. And the hollowing just completely destroyed those guys. That's insane. Wow. Absolutely deleted. That is absolutely sensational. I probably would recommend not using it against bosses. The reason being because it absolutely deletes enemies. That's just crazy. So I would definitely say use with caution with the hollowing. Very powerful, but also can probably work against you if you are trying to farm certain things from enemies. Excuse me, especially like materials, runes. I would be very mindful of how to utilize this rune. At least for now. Alright, let's go try it out in the Dermak Undercity. This rune is absolutely sensational, though. I do want to check and see. Have we got the compass always visible? No. Okay, that's why. Alright, little buddy. Bear with me. I'm just gonna set up one of the game sounds. They didn't really seem to be coming through. Gemini, can you just do me a little bit of a favor? Can you just let me know if the sound check's coming through with the game sound for Soulframe now? I'm not sure why that wasn't coming through before. Working as intended? Excellent. And the sound level for you guys on your end on Twitch, is that okay coming through? I kind of want it just below like my voice level, I would say. It's always kind of hard to test it, especially when you're live, but... Absolutely sensational. That sounds good to you? Okay. I'll just do a little bit of a quick little sound test myself. Always really funny to do the sound testing, that's for sure. The sound testing, that's for sure. Alright. Cool. Alright. Sound test is good. Not that I don't trust you, I just, I like to double check things like that, just to make sure that they're working properly, especially with, like, the sound channeling. That can be a bit of a setup sometimes, to work through, but it seems pretty good. But how are you going with your farm for the Jaden drops? changed my little sparrow gun to the wilder Zelda. Very, very cute. Just need 6 more Jaden drops. This whole entire new setup for the harrowing and the flip smoke, it blows me away how strong it is. Absolutely sensational. Interesting. So to be able to get past here, I guess just walk around it. That seems pretty efficient to me. Oh, awesome. I love this puzzle. Absolutely love this puzzle. Hey, bud. This room. Wow. Absolute devastation. I think I'm going to name this build like Annihilation. It literally is exactly what it does. It just annihilates enemies right off the map. Caliban. Oh, the talismans I've got? It depends on like what you're going to be building with, but I've pretty much got all the talismans that I need. I've got all the talismans from Kogo. So I've got all of like the triune, I've got the fragments, I've got the Rose's Bodkin, I've got all the base medallions, I've got the Synod's Bell Jar, the Wazard's Wish, the Dire Skull, Orangor's Fang I've also got as well. I've got all of the Parapat and the Wild Heart, the Hill, and the Hush, but I've also got the Koga Lukan, the Creator, and the Grod. I'd probably say like the Koga Grod is quite good for spirit, for duration. Koga Lukan is very good for the attack and courage boost in 2+, and then the Creator is actually quite good for stagger and grace. So it kind of just depends on how you're building and what you're building for. But I've generally been using the attack +5, just so I can squeeze out a little bit more damage boost for the weapons I use. No little lever in here, so we'll just have to go over here and see if we can find that lever. But how's the farm going for you, Color Man? Where are you up to with the entire farming process? 5k more rep. I need to switch from Kith to Alkaz. Yeah, I've just done the switch today. Oh, sorry, yesterday. To the Kith of Kings. So basically, I've set my rotation up as like very similar to Warframe when they have the reset day. That's when most of my stuff in the game will reset. I am working at getting the Webbit Root plant in the Nightfold to spawn the seeds roughly around in the afternoon. But what I'm going to do instead is wait until like my early morning And then I'm going to set it up so it actually sends the... excuse me. I'm basically going to set the webbit roots up, the seeds for collection, roughly around 10 o'clock in the morning. So it's basically the same time as reset as Warframe. Absolute devastation. Goodbye. The other thing I've actually been working on with this hollowing rune and leveling is the pull smite should generally pull or bypass a bit of armor, so then it can actually strip armor away from the enemies, so I can actually start effectively attacking their health, basically. Which is pretty fun, I have to admit that. And this particular weapon is going to be extremely good against most of the enemies in the game too. So just doing a little bit of a test run with it at the moment and just leveling up the weapons that I want to. I am wanting to get the Koglad blade switched over to... I'm going to be putting it towards courage for now, but we'll see how it works with the other virtues. Predominantly just because it's a grace-based weapon, so it does need a little bit more of a higher cap in grace for it to actually have quite a good damage output. Where courage is obviously it's still a lot stronger. Within the attack range, like damage output. So I do want to attune this over to courage, so it can pretty much be on par with the Watan. But the Watan is already at 86 attack on a regular hit, where this one's at 78 at level 4, but this one's a level 0. And the same thing was going with the Estelle. I was looking at, okay, how can I get like a few more levels up with this one too? But with the Elder Staff, I've been looking into this one, additional 1 in 3 smite chance. I've got the 15 attack speed, but I've also added the 35% damage to nearby enemies, which is really nice. The unhindered heavy cast that pass through enemies bypass 20 armor. This is actually quite good on heavy attacks because that's what will actually bypass the armor of the enemy and effectively make the weapon technically stronger in the way that you're reducing their armor, so the damage output that you do have for the Elder Staff will actually start affecting their health, especially when they've got a grey health bar. And I've been doing stagger on sprint attack casts with the defense rune. But I have been looking at the deflections bypass 20% armor, so if I deflect an enemy's arrow or projectile, it will actually bypass a bit of their armor as well. So this is also a very good totem to find, the Shaper. It's pretty good, so there's definitely a lot more flexibility within the builds at the moment. So I do have a lot less armor than what I'd like for this build, but because it's a caster build though, and the amount of damage output that you can achieve, especially with the hollowing rune, is pretty crazy. And for the most part, I generally flick between the... Oh no! Yo, that's crazy. Bear with me, I am just gonna put that to rest. That's crazy. Holy Hannah. That is a huge amount of hello everything. Okay. I hope that's really stopped for all of you. That's insane. Apparently I'm the bot that spams. That's crazy. Let's have a look. Okay. I'm just going to disengage all of those. That was absolutely crazy. That really did not work very well, did it? Alright, I'm just going to clear that out and hopefully that actually resets everything for you guys. Yeah. Alright, I'm just going to run one test one and just see how that operates. Okay. Yeah, that doesn't work. Basically glass, yeah, but I've reset like a whole bunch of the chat stuff this morning. And I've got a timed action in there, which is like basically like a one-tap timer, but for some reason it's just completely destroying you guys in chat at the moment. Yeah. Alright, I've turned all of those off. I'm not exactly sure why it's going that crazy, to be honest. And more. Chat spam when it's not meant to let keep going. Yeah. I just want to see what it's going to do if I just let it run just by itself. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, I know, Gem. I'm just very aware of, like, this stuff being a little bit annoying. It's more annoying for me than you guys, I'm sure. I'm just going to see if I can just play around with the timer. It really does. Alright. I think that should stop that now. That is a whole ton of messages, though. Holy Hannah. I wonder how many that actually threw out. Let's go have a look at the pending queue in action. 2,025 messages, exactly. Nope, 2,027. That is a lot. Crazy, crazy. Alright. Where are we? Alright. That should actually have stopped that now. That's nuts, man. Let me just check on Twitch, Ola. Alright. So Twitch seems fine. Yeah. Has it stopped? I feel very welcome. Testing. Strange, I don't see it now. Glass. Yeah, I think the commands that I put up earlier, they now seem to be fine. Yeah, I've diversified links for both platforms, but I think I've set it up incorrectly in a way that the one-tap timer of when I actually select it is just completely spamming it, so it's not actually just activating one message that I've set up, it's actually just spamming the shit out of it. Which is super fun. The floodgate open, I'm just making... Yeah, definitely. It was definitely a flood, wasn't it? I'm going to have to go back through that, to be honest. I have no idea. I do have one little test, though. I'm going to try the Soulframe one and see if that actually works. Who let the spam out? Oh my god, that's actually a really good redeem. Where is it? I'm setting that up right now, Gemini. That's perfect. That's becoming a channel reward for sure. Let's have a look. I'm literally making that as we speak, Gemini. That's nuts, man. Alright, let's try that. Let's do that one there. So, absolutely crazy. Alright, I'm going to try this one. Oh my lord. Alright. And then I just want to try the Soulframe one, see if it actually does what it needs to. Alright, I am releasing the Soulframe one. Hopefully this doesn't inundate you guys. Okay. I'm just trying to see if I can set that one up as a redeem. Leave and come back. But for... Is the YouTube one still going crazy on you? Oh, I see what it's doing. No, I don't think so. I'm just testing out the Soulframe and the spam one at the moment just to see if they actually go nuts. But I'm just going to test the Soulframe command and just see if it actually works. Oh, I see what you mean. Got you. If you want to. I'm just trying to see if I can get this, the Soulframe one to actually do what it needs to. Let's just do that. Alright, so I've just updated this one. Alright, I'm just going to update this and then see if that actually runs properly. Now none of them want to work. How funny. Possibly, yeah. Thanks for being patient on this one. Like, I'm not exactly sure why none of them are working now. None work? That makes the brain work harder? Yeah, that's very true. So I've got this specific one for me. So I'm just going to test the specific one for the socials on my end for you guys and just see if that actually comes through properly. It could just be the actual client though, like it could be like a backlog too. Alright, I'm going to try this one and see if it goes nuts. Yeah, it doesn't even work now. Okay. Yeah, it's not even operating any of the ones that I would want it to. Interesting. Okay. We do like problem solving. Do. Alright, so I'll update the Twitch one. And then I'm going to try the Soulframe one. Hopefully they don't go crazy. So many explosions though. Alright, here goes nothing. Nope. Okay. Okay. Hmm. Okay. Alright, I'm just gonna restart the streamer bot. Let's release the deluge again. Alright. I think I'm just going to leave all of that alone for now. It's very crazy. I'll laugh about it soon. Whoops. Anyway, we're back on track. I think I'm just gonna leave all, like, the quick action stuff alone for now. Like, whoops. Is all I can say is whoopsie. I mean, stuff like that happens all the time anyway, so... yeah, interesting. Let's just go delete some enemies. I think that's really fun to do that. There we go. I would probably say too, if you're looking to do a soul smite, it will destroy the souls that you want to take, basically. Like, I am absolutely blown away by this rune. It's just an absolute deletion of a rune. It blows me away how strong this one is. But anywho, well, how have you been aside from being, like, completely deluged by my chat? It's kind of funny now. So they've got to be alive for you to mark them too. So if you kill them, it doesn't really work. So let's have a look at level 9. So that's one hit. And that's the deleting hit. Okay, so it actually moves. Interesting. Okay. So it doesn't actually delete all the time. Oh, enemies! Wait, let's go get that 2-star. Oh. Hello. Goodbye. Hello. You dodged it? Okay. We'll go from there. Hey, bud.
They're marching pounds over my head.
Alright. Let's go get these guys.
Stolen land. Let's burn some cassids.
Alright. Deletion time. Okay, so it does kill pretty quickly. But you still have the opportunity to be able to keep some enemies alive. But that seems quite randomized, I would say. The Shaper. Ah, Weeping Driss. We definitely need that. Thank you. Hey, bud. Thanks, little Bambi. This is probably going to be pretty fun against a Banneret, though. Right, I am going to do something and just completely annihilate the, what's it called? I'm just playing around with the runes. At the moment, yeah. Bear with me, I'm just going to play with like a few settings just so I can get a little bit more flexibility on what's happening. The only thing with like tabbing in and out of the game at the moment does leave like a little bit of a print on the screen, which is kind of funny. Alright, that's better. I don't want to do that. Alright. Okay. So where are we? Soulframe. Let's just do that. Behold the spam in a can, indeed. Yeah, there's definitely something set up that's not working properly. Very clearly. See, I find it interesting that it just keeps on spamming like two particular things. Spam 2, Return of the Can Opener. I do love that. It's very specific though to these things, so I really want to problem solve this now, to be honest. I know it's annoying, but I really want to see why it's doing this. It is not that one. Hmm. That's a real shame. We have wave 3 incoming. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. Hmm. So look. You've met spam now. Get ready for spam prime and the weapon in the can opener. Agreed, Gemini. I think it's actually finally just pushed everything that it's supposed to do through. So I'm just going to leave my end of stuff at the moment and just see where it's at. Nope, it's still gone. You definitely are on a roll today, and I appreciate that very much so. I'm just fascinated because the command that I've got, I put like everything disabled. So I'm curious, like, how or why, even though I've disabled everything, it's still pushing a lot of stuff through. You go to the Rick roll, now get ready for the spam roll. Yeah. I do want to test out just like the Soulframe one at least. Because I know that that one was fine. I actually kind of find it really funny though. I'm probably gonna like... So this is... Alright. Let's give this one a try. So this is purely just the Soulframe, like, social connections. Oh my god, okay. So that one actually works. Which is great. So there's one. I just rickrolled you with your own spam? Wait, what? You did. You definitely did. So the Soulframe website, the Discord, and the Twitch, that one definitely works. So that's fantastic. So I think what I'm going to do is replicate this particular one and then just like get rid of all the other ones. Because that was a nightmare. So there's this guy. I want to do this. And then I'm going to change this over a little bit. Okay. So let's do... Okay. You're giving me confidence here, my friend. Planning on doing Koga runs tonight? Yeah, Glarp, I can probably do, like, a little bit of a run with Koga. Spam is the ex-wife, and she went half. Oh my god. If Spam is an ex-wife, she did not go half with that one. She went full in. Okay, so I'm just going to rebuild something here. This is what problem solving is all about. I cannot believe how much I actually spam the shit out of you guys, though. Alright. Hopefully this one actually wants to work. So let's have a look. So there's that one, and this one. We love problem solving. Okay. I think I fixed it. I think. Bear with me. I'm just going to quickly give this a little bit of a try. Alright, I'm going to save that. And then I'm going to update step by step. It's probably just because I was really impatient and I was setting stuff up like pretty quickly. And I missed a step in the actual command setup. The spam troubleshooting on the fly? Oh yeah. Alright. Cross your fingers. Okay. Perfect. That actually worked. Excellent. Great. Dope. Awesome. Okay. I am, like, really happy with that. Dope. I am very happy now. Happier. Alright, one more test try. Okay, good. That works. And then we're going to test the join Soulframe. Excellent. Perfect. That's what we want. Done. I am not going to be playing around with anything else anymore. Okay, so we got that. Awesome. Awesome and awesome. Excellent. Look at that. I'm a master of setting up commands now. Okay. Cool. I'm just gonna play breaks. Break it. Break it 2 minutes later. Most likely, for sure. Hey. All right. So. All right. So I'm just gonna do the Discord. I'm gonna do the social link and the IGN. All right. There we go. Test that. Thank you very much for, like, testing this stuff with me as well, guys. Alright, socials done. Discord done. Awesome, and there's the IGN. Dope. I'm dubious to test the YouTube, but let's have a look. Alright, I'm going to leave that one alone for now, so I'm just going to disable that particular one so I know which one is which. Let's do... Oops. Alright. There we go. I think problem solved. Maybe not. Okay. So which one's this one? That's why. I love it when things get messy. It's good. It makes me work a little bit harder on the fly, which is nice. Okay. And then we want this one here. Done and done. Meow. Alright, I just want to test it one more time for the Soulframe. Website, Discord, Twitch. Awesome. Cool. Alright, I'm just going to clear chat because that's a lot. But I feel a lot more competent in, excuse me, problem solving that, at least. That was nuts, man. Spam chat. What a feel. Okay. Okie dokie. There we are. Let's go and have a quick look at the upgrade. So we're going to do the Kogala Khan. So that should give me an extra 5 points of attack damage. And then what I would like to do is more do the full screen this time. There we go. Cool. Alright. I'm surprised that we actually didn't lose that banneret. Even the game was being patient with spam. Yo, okay, let's go see if we can actually mark someone else and put a bomb on them. Yo, he's got tracking? That's crazy. Okay. Oh, wow, okay. That's dope. So as soon as the decoy hits with the rune, that goes off. That's really good. And it's basically like a loot bomb. Wait, this guy's still... Okay. Does it work? Time to make a coffee? Indeed. Wait, is that one that I made? I didn't even know my own redeems. I'm pretty sure, yeah. Is that one? Which one's spam? I'd be more than happy to make a coffee. That's too funny, though. Alright, there we go. Ooh. I really hope, though, like, with the full window mode, we can kind of, like, tab in and out of it a little bit easier as well, but I guess that's what the windowless is for. I think I'll stick away from coffee for now, though. I really want to get this this rune maxed out with this particular weapon. Sinecure. Alright, so we've got a 3-star, so I'm going to go do that. And then see how we go with the runes that I've got on. Blah, hello, again. There's no more spam, I promise. I wonder if the Undercity entrance that requires 2 people has a higher chance to spawn the boss for Koga. Ah, which one are you looking for exactly? So let's try that. Clearly, I'm not a very big fan of defensive stuff. I'd probably say, like, you're talking about, like, the north... Is it, like, the northeastern one with, like, the dual buttons to get onto? And are you looking, like, for more of, like, the Koga? Yeah, okay. I would assume so. I haven't actually touched Koga yet. I've just been taking a little bit of a break from it. There's a boss that spawns in every dungeon, but the spider one is the most consistent. Yeah, so the most consistent one is the Sechnal, which is... I'll pull the map. So over near Fort Colonel, there's an entranceway just here. The Nethans, that's where Sechnal, the other spider orb mum, or the other weaving spider, resides. I'd probably say the other entrance that you're looking at is the Glades of Anduin, but there's the Dermak Undercity. So this is the 2-button Dermak Undercity to enter. So that's essentially like one of the highest level Dermak Undercities in the game. Yeah, this one? Yeah. So... the Glades of Anduin, I haven't tried that one in Koga mode just yet. I'd probably say these entrances, these Glades of Anduin, I believe that one spawns the other imp. And then this one, I haven't actually tried. Actually, that's a lie. I have tried the Glades of Anduin, and it spawned both the imp and the Reaper Dog as well. But I've only had that Reaper Dog show up about once. So we've got a Dermak Undercity here, so I could probably even run that too, just to see what bosses spawn. And then we do have the Glades of Anduin here, and then we've also got the other Glades here. This one would probably be the most accurate, I would say, in spawning a boss. But because there's newer content within the game at the moment, it's basically trial and error. But for the most part, I have found that Sechnal, the other orb weaving spider, will produce in this particular tile set for the Nethans. I haven't tried the ones up here just yet. And then I have not tried the Glades of Anduin, I don't think. I think I may have done it once. And I think that's where the Reaper Dog will spawn. And then there's also another Dermak Undercity. So I'm almost, you know what? I'm going to go do this one, and this one to see what which bosses get produced with there. So I'm not really going to bother with the tier 3 tile sets just yet. Hey, bud. Okie dokie. So I'll go run those 3 tile sets and see how they operate with the other bosses. Let's have a look. Oceanic. Okay, so everything's been reset. Okay. Where is the UI? HUD scale. We need chitty chatty scale, chat scale. We can drop that down. Let's just do that for now. Alright, there we go. Dark Beyond. Alright, I'll pull you in. Generally, I was going to be doing solo stuff, but I'm not going to be doing any Koga as well. Not just yet, anyway. I want to test out these 3 different areas and basically just kind of level gear at the moment. And I'm trying to stay away from the endless run, only because it's pretty tedious. Yeah. You're welcome to join in for the leveling of gear. That's not a problem. I don't really, like, if I'm going to do anything in Koga, it's going to be, like, not like all, like, the main bosses that I've already done. I've just got to focus farm, I think, one more rune, in all honesty. But I guess we can just do, like, a couple of them anyway. At least get the harrowing rune. Or hollowing, sorry. There's so many runes to learn. Like, there's a ton of content, man. It's good. But it's really hard to keep track of all the different names of everything at the moment. But he's got the zoomies. I know that this dude doesn't really drop any mushrooms, so that's okay. So you can certainly use the block and delete button for him, no problem. There's only 5 bosses that give the new runes. Yeah, there's a few bosses that I haven't found at the moment. I know that's why I want to really go test like these 3 different locations, because I know that Sachnal comes through this one. I know that Glades of Anduin can spawn the Reaper Dog or the Imp, so that's 3 bosses. I haven't actually tried the Dermak Undercity just yet. I'm pretty sure from one of the bosses it would be the possibly one of the other Gruul Seekers, but I haven't actually tried that one yet. So we can give that a whirl. I do like the range on this stuff too. It's really, really good. Can I have the soul, please? Pretty please. There we go. Block and delete. Wonderful. What help? With? What runes am I looking for? In all honesty, I don't think, like, there's anything more that I've got to get. I think there's just one rune that I've got to get. I think it may be for the bows. Because I've got the Alpha's Breath, I've got Arcstorm, I've got Hurlwind, I've got the Everflame for the long blades, I've got Emberwrought for short swords, I've got the Torch Eternal for polearms, I've got the Hollowing for the magic weapons, I've got the Durglint for the shield, I've got the Flint Smoke for short swords, the Mistgale, that one is for long blades, Everflame for great swords, Forburn, have we covered that one? Forburn for the shields? No. Let's have a look. Everflame, Forburn, Emberwrought, Everflame, the Durglint we've got, Mistgale, and the Torch Eternal. So I think overall I've covered pretty much all the runes in the game available to us at the moment. I think the only rune that I'm looking for, I believe, is the other alternate rune to Alpha's Breath for the bows. But yeah, if you want to jump in, Dark, you're welcome to. Darkborn. I'm pretty sure that's the same you. Why is that doing that? So new runes that I know of is a shield, long blade, bow, short blade, magic. I think... Where is it? Borderless, there we go. Yeah, I thought so. Cool. I'm pretty confident there is another bow rune. So there's basically like 2 runes per weapon class, basically. I'm not sure about greatswords. I think greatswords just says Everflame at the moment. I guess what I could do is Pull the... What's it called up? Patch notes. We love patch notes. Alright, so let's have a look. Alright, let's look at... Excusez-moi. Alright, so let's have a look at the actual, like, patch notes from the drop. So, we've got the Paragon packs, we know that. We got the Capitalist Camel, great. We know that we've got the shop. We know that we've got the Greatsword. Which is pretty fun, actually, to be honest. Let's dive a little bit deeper in this one. Usual Greatsword, unusual. So this is the Needle's Eye. So that one comes from your tier 2 bounties. Purity, that one comes from your Mendicant King. Rise Envoy, I actually haven't played that. I don't think it's available to me, unfortunately. Apparently we do have some of like the newer kind of like skin looks, etc. of our mother, but also like the hairstyles, the colorations. Apparently there's a childlike version of us as well. And then these are some of like the other like facial inks and stuff that we have available to us as the Envoy. I don't think they're available at the moment. The Agari, so they're basically just like a renamed boss. So this one specifically through here, these are all the different bosses called the Agari. So the Nethans, Glades of Andrin, and Dermak Undercity are the 3 tile sets that we need to go find around the map. So Seachnal, the Widower, we already know is available in this particular one here. So she definitely shows up here. As far as the other ones, Gordo, I have not found. So he looks like he comes through the Nethans tile sets. So we'll have to go find maybe like perhaps a different tile set for the Nethans to see where he spawns from. Four Fella Huel, I have no idea. I have never seen that boss. So I do not know where that one would come from. So what I'm actually looking at doing is seeing, okay, we've got a Glades of Andrin, and then we've got the Dermak Undercity available to us. So I have a feeling the Four Fella Huel may be a Dermak Undercity boss. The Sinecure Errant Vela, I again have not found that boss, so I do not have information on that. And then you've got Gruul Seeker Centauro. So for these 3, I have a feeling they probably synergize potentially with the Dermak tile set and the Glades of Andrin. And then Seachnal the Widower and Gordo, these guys would be the Nethans. So Glades of Andrin, I would have an assumption that the Four Fella Huel and the Sinecure Velia, they would come from the Glades of Andrin. And then Dermak Undercity will have the Gruul Seeker Centauro. That's what my understanding would be, just by looking at the way that it's set up in the actual sentence. I know that seems a bit strange, but to me it kind of makes sense, because Seachnal and Gordo both look like the like corrupted Avocot, and we know that Seachnal is the spider. So I would assume that the Glades of Andrin ones are the Four Fella Huel, the Sinecure Errant Vela, and the Gruul Seeker Centauro. Those will all come through from either the Glades of Andrin and the Dermak Undercity sets as well. I think with as far as say like the animations and stuff of everyone, they've also been updated. For the Koga, we pretty much know most of the Koga at the moment, which is great. So just getting the agaric mushrooms from like the regular map, that will basically show you, basically just do the whole entire boss runs, grab your agaric mushrooms, and then you'll have plenty to be able to make the Koga with Verminia, which is really, really nice. And that's like a 2-hour crafting time, which is really quite good. So it's not too bad. It's like every 2 hours it resets, which is nice. And that gives you roughly like the same amount of time for your bosses to respawn, except it's an extra hour at the moment. So in my reckoning, what I'm really hoping is going to happen is that you have a 2-hour potion craft, but then a 2-hour reset for all of the bosses throughout the game. I think that'll work really nicely. So the enemy levels are increased and enemies grow stronger. We know that. Envoys are debuffed, so your speed, like for your attacks, etc., is slowed down. I'm assuming that we have an armor debuff, and then we also have a stability debuff, so we basically get bumped on our butt quite a lot. The duration of melee health recovery is reduced. That actually makes a little bit of sense to me, but the duration of melee health recovery, Interesting. I wonder if that's something to do with the life stealing joinery, which it probably does. Let's have a look. Allies can freely revive one another as long as one envoy remains standing. So that's basically Koga in a nutshell. If everyone dies, we all reset, basically. Alright, so it's a commitment. So you've got to be in squad before you actually start the actual Koga. So that's good. So running away ends the ritual and cowardice. During an Agari fight, the Nightfold cannot be entered until combat ends. We understand that. Unique runes, definitely there are. Lore drops, absolutely you do get. New talismans, the Koga Lorcan, the Creator, and the Grod. These ones drop like candy at the moment, so you won't really have a problem getting those. Visual effects, Koga damage scaling while they're way in near future hotfix. So the Koga talisman visual effects and Koga damage scaling will find their way in a near future hotfix. That is very good to see that. The ritual is intended for experienced envoys who want to meet their build, sharpen their skills, and face the Agari under the harshest conditions. We welcome your feedback during the first version. So this is not like a permanent like way of how Koga is going to be. It's just a testing field at the moment. So feedback is really good. So we know about fast travel. That's really nice. You can teleport. You view your Webbit Seed inventory in the bottom left of the map. That's great. Webbit Seeds will teleport squad members in multiplayer. We've also tested that too. Siege reworks. They've received a foreboding rework, including the Siege of Carlisle, Old Infamy, more intuitive starting UI, and completion fanfare. To retake Fort Carlisle, envoys will traverse the Sinsilk Grappler and man Basulcum as you contend with the shifting Castellan bent on pelting you from afar. Okay, so you do get the notification coming through for the siege. That's awesome. Old Infamy. The Ode are keen to know who's storing each turmoil upon their captured cobblestone. By completing sieges, envoys will earn Ode Infamy. Ode Infamy is successfully burning the Ode Lantern at the end of the encounter. Earn infamy by eliminating the present Agari, so all the bosses that appear. So there's generally 2 for the Fort Carlisle and also for the Fort Kernhold. You lose infamy with each death. Infamy for each remaining sinecure left standing, you will lose. So make sure you clear out everyone, and then losing infamy for surrendering the siege. So if you just walk away and just let it expire, you lose infamy. Expect the Ode to strike upon your gained infamy in future updates, lest you fear their ire. So as it stands at the moment, for gaining infamy in future updates, you can potentially lose it to strike upon you. So that'll be interesting to see what that means too. So there's quite a lot of like to be advised at the moment. So I think to answer a lot of questions that people have had in and around infamy, it's still like TBA pretty much. So we can expect siege drops rewards related to the types of foes within, such as Everflame from Kernhold, which are in flux under the adjustment. Rewards are granted after burning the Ode Lantern instead of the Castellan. I mean, if we could burn the Castellan, that would be really fun. But basically, yeah, you would get your rewards if you actually torched the Castellan enemy that you were going against, not the Ode Lantern, which is actually kind of funny to do. But it makes sense that they've actually given specifically when you burn the balloon, not just defeating the boss. What else have we got? Reaching the duration of range of all Arcanics to better improve the viability and intended effectiveness of all packs. That's really nice. Reaching the effectiveness of virtues on Tethrin, Siren, and Oselda. I really would love to see a little bit more effectiveness or expansion on what that specifically means for these packs. Because I have noticed that Siren has a very, like, a higher end casting time, which is really annoying, personally. But I really hope that that does get adjusted back to where it was, because I think that really helps Siren operate better as a pact itself. Oshelda, I feel that that's okay. The casting time of it's fine, and the instantaneous casting time of Tethrin is really good. Okay, so let's have a look. Increase the effectiveness of enemies receiving fear. That's really nice, because they stagger every time that you cast an ability with your pact. Immunity to stagger and stumbles while casting the Arcanics of the packs. That's also really good. Added camera effects like Tetherin, Siren, or Acenula to Ode, Tempest, Orangul, and Garen Rude, so when we cast, we've got more freedom of camera use, which is nice. Tweaked Bromius camera effects when casting. That is very true. They do have tweaked casting for Bromius at the moment, so perhaps we'll see a little bit of a change in that coming along the line. Ode Tempest, Voltaics weaken a foe's stability, leaving them open for a lethal strike. So these are the updated pieces for the Ode Tempest. Astrosphere, Voltaic damage now multiplies all stability damage delivered to enemies. So basically that knocks them on their butt. Startup cast now deals stability damage, which I would say the second ability, the Astrosphere, is when you drop it, that's when they all got like basically shaken, which is good. Atmosphere drastically increases an envoy's armor instead of granting damage immunity. That's good to know. Reflected enemy strikes and parries now deal significant stability damage. Non-heavy enemies are prone to being knocked down when struck. Reflected enemy strikes now have a chance to incur smite, which is actually really nice. Attacks absorbed or parried during atmosphere reduce its duration. So attacks absorbed or parried during atmosphere. Okay, that's cool. So that's our third ability, which is nice. So you can keep on spamming your shield, basically, which is good. Attacks from the Yagari further reduce its duration. That's actually really nice to know too. So it does make it worthwhile. It's not as effective as it was invincibility-wise, but that's actually pretty okay. Jam, what's going on? Yeah, these are all the patch notes. I just wanted to go through them, funny enough, because I think there's a lot of questions people have had. And I think it just is kind of nice to go through them all, because there is so much. Linking? Yeah, sure. Actually, I want to try this. There you go. You can just jump onto the Soulframe website. That link should work for you. But that one is for joining the Preludes redeeming code area of the website. You'll just have to go up the top and have a look and find the patch notes. Entrances of Astrosphere and Atmosphere not synergizing correctly. Okay, that's interesting to see that. Mora's Hand is way better though too. The passive of Hungry Flame now applies to Inferno's self-inflicted damage and casting Ember, which is the second ability, but they're not stackable unfortunately. Smolder more rapidly applies fire damage and Burn Up, which is really, really nice, which is the passive, I think. Burn after build-up applies in an AoE around the initial target, which is nice. Ignis Wrath, increasing the fire damage dealt for affected enemies and increased range of Ignis Wrath eruptions, which is nice too. So that's the very first ability. It's extremely powerful. Ember is the second ability. This is like the shielding ability with the AoE. Increased the fire damage from blast when struck, which is nice. Ember now considers the envoy on fire, thankfully, which is great. Inferno massively increased damage dealt, which is really good. Fire damage is now dealt in a small explosion, affecting the player as well, which is even better. Inferno's explosion will activate Ember's explosion, which is our second ability, which is really nice. Garen Rude, let's have a look. Torment strikes, Sunder under the Stampede. So, passives. Healing from non-health elixir sources while your rune is active now provides additional charge time. I'll have to test that because I don't really know excuse me, how I feel about the Garen Rude changes, to be honest. The Stampede is quite good. The Herd of Rude is now more condensed and front-loaded when cast, which is really, really nice. It actually does a lot of damage. Reduce the duration of the Stampede. So I don't really know how much spirit you'll definitely need for the Stampede, but it does kind of, like, say, basically it's reduced the duration of it. So I'm curious to test out the duration of it in its entirety, especially with spirit being duration. Greatly increases stability damage dealt to affected enemies. So this is the second ability of Behest. Non-heavy units are prone to being knocked down when struck, which is good. Smite chance is doubled on enemies affected by Behest, so that's good to know. So this would actually be another pact that will synergize quite well with the Flint invisibility rune. Interesting. So this is the particular ability I'm not really too keen on. Some of the changes. Torment. Torment now deals damage proportional to the enemy's health, not the envoy. The healing leeched is now more proportional to the envoy's health. Right, there you go. So if they've got more health, that's how it deals damage. So I feel like that's already capped, unfortunately. Dealing damage proportional to an enemy's health bar, and then the healing leech is now proportional to the envoy's health. So it means you've got to stack an absolute ton of health to be able to get health back, which is... I'm not too keen on that. Torment can now smite enemies. I don't really know the exact statistics on that. To be honest, I think there's far more effective ways of getting smite than actually using an ability from a pact. Torment now only leeches health from enemies within 50 meters. So that's still pretty good, but at the same token, I feel like the changes to Garen Rude don't really give it all that much more, apart from like basically building around Behest, in all honesty. I'll have to try it a bit more, but these changes for the Torment I don't really like, in all honesty. Because it's proportionate to the enemy's health, but then also the leeching of health to return it to the Envoy. You've got to have a lot more health pool build up, which you can achieve. So I'll have to play around with it a bit more, but I have tried it a little bit, and I honestly don't like it. But I mean, that being said though too, if I'm not really liking that, like what would I change about that? I would probably just say the healing leeching more proportional to the Envoy's health. Yeah, it's to be played around with, I think. But I think it being proportional damage towards the enemy's health. Yeah, I don't really know how I feel about that. Orangor, Howl. Howls actually heal these summoned wolves upon casting. So that's a third ability that we spoke of yesterday, which is good. So this is all of the experience that you can get as well. So let's have a look. Whether you find yourself within factions, offerings, and experience have been replenished and retuned. Faction Tail experience earned has been increased depending on the Tail's level range. So this is basically all of the levels of the enemies in the game. So this is the actual stats that we have a look at. If we go into, say, Koga, for example, we're not going to be able to see this sort of level of enemy, but we will be seeing that more so within like the northeastern quarter of the map, which is really, really good. So if you're running your 3-star Faction Tails up in this area, you're gonna see a huge return of faction rep, which is understandable because that's the high level area in the game. So you would basically want to be running any level 30 to 50 enemy areas to be able to establish yourself and getting quite a healthy return of experience points. But even say like your level 0 to 10 gives you 350 experience in a 0 to 10 level area, so you're gonna start seeing better benefits with level enemies 10 to 20 at about 550 of a 3-star Sparrow Tail, or a Faction Tail I should say. So that's good to like actually see that calculated out and put in front of us as well. So let's have a look. Tail changes, faction tail lengths and step distribution have been redistributed. 3-star tails containing a dungeon now only have 3 steps, not 4. 2-star tails no longer contain dungeons as a possible step. So that's actually not a bad thing. So you stay in the open world. Envoys journeying in progress, 2 or 3 factions will now receive proportioned experience. So that's nice. So you can kind of join halfway through and still gain, which is nice. Envoys will receive an item reward for participating in half or more of the faction tail. Improve the timing and availability of faction tails around Madrath. Improve the density and available locations for faction tail and faction tail steps. That's definitely become very apparent. That's very good. Faction tails will appear around Madrath faster upon logging in. That's very true too. So it's not really waiting for about 3 minutes anymore. It's actually a lot more faster now, which is nice. Reducing the downtime between being able to access another faction tail after completing one, which is really nice. Improving the likelihood of 3-star faction tails around Madrath. You definitely see them a lot more. Rebalancing the experience required per enclave rank up and increase the maximum amount of XP an envoy can have. Our goal is to ensure that ranking up, especially for the first rank, feels much faster than before. Some items per rank require less standing than others, which is not too bad. So to get to rank 1, you need 5,000 standing in totality, but you can have 10,000 max. So interesting. So rank 2 is required 10,000, 30,000 to rank up to rank 3, 30,000 required, but then 50 to max, which is nice. Rank 4 is 50,000 and then to 80,000 to max it, Rank 5 is 80,000 required to 110 max standing that you can actually cap up on. So that's actually pretty good. What I'm noticing though with the factions at the moment is that it's saying that I've got 80,000 and then it says that I'm maxed, but then when I go there, I've actually got to go get like a whole bunch of faction tales rerun. So I'm just curious to see how this is going to get fleshed out, because I have been seeing, granted I switched over from Silent Rose to Kid the Kings. This is definitely different. So this is really good information that we're actually going through right now, because I think there has been a bit of confusion, like more so like in my end, I would probably say, because I was so used to running the faction tales, and then I thought, oh, okay, great, like I've got like, you know, 3,000 like standing, so I can go and do something with my faction. But when I get there, it's completely different. So I think it's actually quite broken at the moment, meaning the faction tales that I have been running, I'm not remunerating and getting the right amount of experience gains. But it's also because I haven't really been running the higher level ones either. So to see all of this as well, you basically can be looking at roughly around 750 to 1150 experience return for each level 3-star at level 40 to 50 enemies as well. So that's good to know. Faction vendors bear updated wares and costs, redeemable depending on your faction rank. Alka's Children offering, we've got all of these particular ones through here. Rank 1, you've got your rank 2, which is your Pocket of River Pearl, Siren's Plain Hide, so that's a little bit more armor. And then we've got the Brewing Dancing Galdra Elixir. You don't really need to buy that, as long as you've got the, I think one of the Paragon packs. So we've got Tethrin, we've got Siren, which are the two different packs themselves. You've got a little bit of armor. You've got the Sproutfolk Shoot Talisman, which is the upgraded version of the Sproutfolk Talisman. So all of the factions have their own second 2-star talisman that you can build, and that takes 24 hours to build. Arangol's Cuirass, so you can get that from there as well. So there's quite a lot of diversification for a lot of the armors too. So it's good to see that you can get multiple different things, even like the Ode Tempest Pact. The Armat of Arangol, Verite Blessed, which is the melee versions of the joineries, but you get all sorts of different joineries. You got the Feybolt, you've got the, where is the other one? There's a few more that have been added into all of the factions. So Alka's Children basically takes the spirit-based faction use of the joineries. The Silent Rose will obviously be the Iridas, the Saphlane, which is your grace-based joineries. And then Kid the Kings, I think, is going to become very popular because of the fact that it has the Feybolt Blessed by Mora, and it's also got the Verite Blessed by Mora, and quite a lot of other bits and pieces too. So you've got the Siren, and then you've got the Shelder Pact. So it's kind of interesting that they've allowed different factions to have access to the opposite pact. So like Siren and Oshelda, as an example, within the Kith of Kings. And then it also does have the Hand of Mora in there as well, which is this one here at 38,500 standing. That may have changed, so I haven't really checked that just yet. So we've got the new elixirs and talismans. So these talismans will be getting a little bit of an upgrade, apparently, which I think we may have already seen, but there's also effects that come along with them. So they are TBA, to be advised. Let's have a look. So she can concoct all of the potions that we need. Increase spirit, increase grace for 1 hour, and increase courage for 1 hour, which is the Curade's Breath, which is actually very, very good, to be honest. So that one can be used in Koga, which is nice. So let's have a look. We've got the Alka's Children Sproutfolk Shoot. Increased spirit by 6. A germinated seed, da-da-da-da-da. So that actually gives you a flat 6 spirit, which is nice. The Bloom and Bodkin Talisman will give you grace by 6 points. And then the last one is Molten Mora Talisman. Courage is increased by 6 at a flat rate, which is pretty cool. Alright, so let's have a look. We've got the runes and the totems. Holy smokes. There are a lot. So we've got the Emberwrought for the dagger. We've got the Hurlwind for the flyblades. We've got the Torch Eternal for polearms. We've got Forburn for the shield. Let's have a look. The Agari Forfend without the Koga, without such runes, found here and where. So we've got Discharge Nimrod can drop the Hurlwind. We've got the Emberwrought for the dagger, Etheldred the Weaver. We've got the Arcstorm rune for the Wraith of the Wastes. We've got the Everflame for the Greatsword from the Siege Castellians and the Mendicant King. We've got the Forburn for the shield, Sinecure Errant Gorth, and Thrice-Bound Imp. Sinecure Errant Gorth. I'm trying to think of which one that one specifically is. I can't remember where that guy is. Elka's Breath. That one comes from the Gruul Seeker Ruthos, which is the very northeastern part of the map, like extremely all the way up through here. So you can actually teleport to this tree, and she literally just sits right there. Everflame Longblade is from the Nell Knight, which is right up here. Everyone knows where the Nell Knight is. We love him. And then finally, you've got Torch Eternal from Kabocha, which is our little friend in the Weatherwood Forest, just in this area. And then the Alka's Breath will drop from the Spider Mum, just in here. And then the other rune that we're looking for is the... which one is it? The Flitsmoke, which is the one that will drop from the other Orb Mother, just down in this area here. So basically southeast and then southwest of the two different forts. Fort Carlisle is here, Fort Kernhold's there. That's the entrance you want to get to, and I've run that a couple of times for Sechnal, the other Orb Mother spider, and she actually shows up consistently. So that's basically a guaranteed area of where you can get that. Zargan, how you going? Anyone had the Paragon GS still at level 1? Do you mean the Greatsword? Jam. So my Garen Root and Bromia should be finished crafting soon. If I had to pick between the two, which one would you suggest? In all honesty, Jam, I would go with the Bromius pack for now. Garen Root is okay, but its second ability is probably a lot better, and its third ability is really good, the Stampede. But for the Torment, for the healing, I really don't like the changes that have come through for the Garen Brood Torment, so Behest is probably your best bet on the Garen Brood Pact, especially with the way that it can CC enemies, and it can actually knock down heavy units as well, which is pretty good. But I would definitely go the Bromius Pact. Do keep in mind it is more based and focused on your overall armor rating, but also the amount of courage that you have within your virtue tree. Zargan, has anyone got the Paragon Greatsword leveled? I think I've still got it like roughly around level 1. Also drops from the Gruul Hunter for Alka's Breath. Which one's Gruul the Hunter? I've got no idea which one that one is. Gruul Seeker Ruthos I know is Alka's Breath, but I actually got that rune from the Orb Mother originally, which is all the way up through here. Etheldred, she used to drop that one. But also, I will say this, with the patch notes, even though that they state the exact bosses, it's not 100% like a guarantee that they're going to drop the runes, but also don't not go and see the bosses just because they're not mentioned. And the reason why I say that is because I've gone and seen the second Spider Mum in the second location I've just been mentioning, and she actually did drop the invisibility rune from killing her, and that was pretty much like the first time that I went up and saw her, the Flitsmoke rune. So she does drop that rune. So do keep that in mind with like going through patch notes as well. Like I do rely on them to a certain extent. Definitely be testing all of this sort of stuff. I mean, that's what the whole premise of the game is for. With the Drunken Koga, so let's have a look. So the Durglint Shield, Sinecure Errant Gorth, parried attacks from your shield, da-da-da-da-da. Alright, so I have picked that one up quite a few times. The Torrent, Gruul Seeker Ruthos. So that one will come from the northeast boss, which is good. So she has the Torrent. So I think that's the rune that I need. The Flitsmoke, Etheldred the Weaver. Even though it says Etheldred the Weaver, there is that second boss, Sechnal the Weaver, Spider Mum as well. So that's where I did get that Flitsmoke rune from. The Hollowing Wraith of Waste, I can confirm that. I actually picked up the Hollowing, I think, yesterday. It is absolutely ridiculous. I will certainly put out some notes on this one right now. If you're looking to farm any other runes or any sort of items, I would not recommend using the Hollowing, because it actually erases the entire enemy once it actually explodes. So be very careful using the Hollowing Rune. Grills the Hunter in the northeast. Yeah. Thanks, Glath. Yeah. And then attacks mark an enemy with subsequent attacks, igniting the mark to deal damage. I would, yeah. Very, very, like, big PSA. Be very careful using the Hollowing Rune if you are looking at farming an enemy for a rune, because it will actually delete that enemy and anything that they drop. But it is really fun. And then we've got the Mistgale. So that releases spectral attacks from your swing. So that one actually will drop pretty consistently. I've gotten the Durglint to drop quite consistently as well. The Torrent I have not gotten, so I actually am going to go see Grillseeker Ruthos to see if I can actually get that one to drop. And I believe that that's actually the rune that I'm missing out of my entire kit, to be honest. So let's have a look. So I've got the Mistgale, I've got the Torch Eternal, Hellwind, Arcstorm. I've got the Everflame for the Greatswords. I've got the Forburn for the shields. Emberwrought for short swords. I've got the Everflame for long swords. The Durglint for shields. Alka's Breath for bows. And then I've got the Hollowing. And then I've also got the Flint Smoke for the short swords. Alright, so it looks like I've pretty much got every rune apart from that one that I just mentioned, which is the the Torrent. That is the one that I'm missing. So I find that it summons a volley of arrows from the sky upon smiting. I find that that's really cool because you've actually got 2 opportunities to do another hail of arrows. That's insane. Let's have a look. So more totem variants. New animal totem variants now appear across different regions of Madrath, offering more ways to shape your build as charm and rescue animals. That is very true. I can confirm that because I picked up a few different totems along the way, and they actually are pretty fun. A hardy new bounty of totems now roam Madrath. Such new strengths may manifest to empower beyond a regular swing. Breach through armor with a heavy swing. Find health renewed and strike your foes with spirit and dodge, or perhaps even those with a revealed soul. So that's just referring to some of the totems that you can actually get. So say, for example, you can do a heavy swing. It'll give you like it'll bypass armor basically to a certain amount of points. Finding health renewed, basically if someone attacks you, you can attack them back and it will give you extra healing back with a greatsword, which is really cool. So I can show you guys that in a second. Striking foes while sprinting and dodging. So those are going to be built into, say, not just the actual totem builds, but also your combat arts as well. And then, yeah, revealing souls, you can reduce armor, I'm pretty sure. And also just get like health back as well. Totem and rune changes. Runes now drop from more enemies at a higher rate. That is very true. Envoys with only 1 weapon at the beginning of the game are now guaranteed to find a matching totem to support early game progression. That is a really nice change for newer envoys in the game at the moment. Runes and totems now feature improved inventory filtering by weapon grip for easier loadout management. To note on that one, that is a very good filter to have. The only thing I will say is that the greatsword is not actually filtered at the moment, especially with our runes that we have. So you can filter all of the magic runes that you have, click off that, click onto polearm, you've got those ones there. Shield, you can click on, click off. Short blades, it'll show you all the runes that you have there, and so on. So that's actually really nice to know that. Envoys can now only equip 1 type of totem per slot. Example, a long blade with Everflame cannot run 2 of the same Lith totems in the attack slot. So the Lith totem that they're referring to is the little, let's have a look. It is the squirrel for longsword. So let's have a look. This one here. So we can unfortunately only have 1 attack speed totem on any weapon type now. You can't double up on the same totem, unfortunately. But you can use that particular totem in a different slot, whether it's the utility or the defense slot too. Landmarks, Odin presence in Madrath. Cool. Alright, so Martyr's Collector no longer appears in Faction Tales, but now roams Madrath as a timed world event. The Collector ascends only in level 20 plus regions, appearing at a new location every 6 hours. These locations are globally synced for all envoys, which all account a 6-hour cooldown between collectors. That's pretty cool. Additional improvements include refined combat behavior, rebalance rewards, and performance optimization and visual fixes. That's pretty dope. Zargan, when you get a minute, can you let me know what its attack and charge attack is? Yours is at level 30, so I can't use that to compare. I don't think it's a level 1 at the moment, the greatsword that I've got. I think it's actually leveled roughly maybe like... Yeah, I've got like a level 12. So it's not quite at level like 30 at all, but I don't actually have anything at like a rank 1, unfortunately. No worries. Let's have a look. New map icons, key areas of interest including enclaves, Agaria, undiscovered fables. Wait a minute, what do you mean? Okay, so this is like more quality of life. Alright. Headshot indicator for bows. Added a crosshair always visible. Compass. These are the best quality of life I've ever seen in my life. The journal and the codex now live under one unified journal menu. I'm so glad that they put that in there. It was a bit confusing having the codex and the journal. And the journal definitely makes a lot more sense. Journal pages now feature improved readability, clearer highlighting for tracked entries, and updated icons. Journal transitions, backpackers, and highlighters. Yep, that looks really nice too. Replaying a fable now places all directly into active fables, which is phenomenal. Okay, so we've got localization for supported language. Hell yeah, man. That's so good to see that. German, Guten Tag, Russian, Здравствуйте, как дела, Thai. I'm really trying to think of Thai. I'll try. What's Thai? How do you say hello in Thai? I know some not great words though. Traditional Chinese, ni hao ma, she. Let's have a look. Polish, ches jak si masz. Ukraini, Ukraini is something like Vitayu. Japanese, Ohayo gozaimasu, arigato. Simplified Chinese and Korean, wow. French, bonsoir, ça va, Italian, ciao. Spanish, I'm just trying to think now. Holy crap. Portuguese, Brazilian, oi, bom dia. In Spanish would be hola como está. Alright, so Beta's Eve has ended. See it again next year? Not a problemo. What was what he needed? I don't have any of the great swords leveled. Oh, Glass. Zargan was just requesting a look at the greatsword, just to see what the stats are on it unleveled, because he's leveled out his 1 to 30, so he just wants to do a comparison pair of the damage in levels of the particular paragon, I'm assuming. Zargan? Packs are now equipped on selection. Thank Christ for that. Reduce an enemy's an envoy's downtime after charging or charming a totem. That's nice. Pause for a few moments. It will land. Da 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 da. Alright, so that's just about like a little sparrow birds. Odiak is now a sidearm. That's really cool. Odiak's now a sidearm. If an old account only had Odiak in its inventory, Gwillin will now also appear. So that's basically like a free upgrade for people who didn't have the Gwillin before. That's pretty cool. Rebalance loot, drop rates, runes, fragments, miscellaneous resources, joineries and drags throughout Alka. Increased chance of fragments dropped from Odin Basalkum, which are those tanks, which is really, really nice. Rusted joineries no longer drop from the Yagari, thankfully, because they're terrible. But also, I'd really like to be able to just, like, go to Tubal-Kana and say, hey, smash all these joineries up and let's put them into something else. That'd be great. Various talisman virtues have been rebalanced. Synod's Belljar, 4 courage, 1 grace, 1 spirit. Dire Skull, 4 grace, 1 spirit, 1 courage. Orangle's Fang, 4 spirit, 1 courage, 1 grace. Triune Talisman, 3 spirit, grace, and courage, all across the board. I think that is very nice to have that. Movement is now locked while using magic weapons to prevent losing the grounded combat art effect. That is really nice. Because that particular grounded combat art effect is absolutely insane, especially with the Odiak and the Estelle sidearms as well. Smite exposed souls now appear only to the envoy who triggered them and remain visible after the enemy dies, which I absolutely love. Spectral Sight available in the Nightfold to assist the new player experience improvements. That's really cool. Disabled Spectral Sight prompts while looking at Totem during the last pensive. Interesting. Checkpoint after acquiring the Totem for the Reclaim from the Old, the Totem Ode, Step in the Tormented Stag Fable. Added the option to self-display mode, or set display mode, in the launcher. Ah, see, that's actually really nice too. Additional chest, animal cages to sinecure camps without any. Alright, so it just looks like there's a few bits and pieces that have just been upgraded, especially for the Stag quest and the Bromius quest. A mute button beside squad members using voice chat. New sound that plays when receiving a co-op invite. Yep, that actually pops up in the game, which is nice. Assembled to Finny in Vermin's Nightfold. Okay, that's nice to know that it said Finny, which means finished, but it was kind of funny to see, like, assembled, Finny. I was like, huh? Avocot Scots no longer sells Drax for Arcs, thankfully. As this was part of early stage testing. Indeed it was, and thankfully it is all finished. In that particular area, anyway. Improved the readability of acquired weapon fragments, which is great. Additional horizontal movement on step slopes to create a more natural climbing feel. That's actually quite a nice little thing there too. In order to remain functional, Prelude Honor is now a talisman. Lost everything but this lousy mode. Our talisman, rather. In order to remain functional, the Prelude Honor is now a talisman. Lost everything but this lousy mote, or talisman, rather. Oh, I think I know what that one's referring to. Continued improvements to the world of Alka, discover new dendrite mines, Neithin's caves and Ode's presence throughout the world, improved glades of Andrum with smoother transitions in the tile sets, fewer harsh dead ends, and better overall level variety, which is great. Continued updating lighting to visual effects, materials, environment, and volumetric fog. Yay! Alright, and then it just goes into a whole ton of the bugs. Alright, there we go. That's the patch notes done. Holy crap, what was that? That's probably like a good 45 minutes, I'd say. Alright, so let's have a look. We've got the Elder Staff. Jesus, I need to actually change this up a little bit. Alright, so we've got our magic weapon. So what have we got? Misdirections, Spectre Strike, and then we've got Unhindered. Heavy cast strike through the first enemy. Absolutely, we'll pop that one in there. Long swords we don't have to worry about, and also short swords we don't have to worry about either. Reason being is because we have an absolute crap ton of points for both of these combat arts, so that's not too bad at all. So what we'll do is play around with the Elder Staff, and I'm going to drop my grace down because I don't really need all that much grace, in all honesty. I'm going to pump this right up into spirit, and then that can just stay as is. So that 15, 10, and 25, even though I'm using Siren, I really don't mind that. But I do want to do a lot more damage with the Elder Staff, so it seems counterintuitive to be using it for leveling at the moment with the Siren. But in all honesty, that is okay with me for now. So what have we got? 25, 15, 10. We've still got like 46 damage output on the Elder. That doesn't really seem right. But anyway, I guess what I could do instead... for the decoy, it makes sense to have the Mora's Pride, though. So, you know what? I'm not going to worry about putting all of my spirit up. I'm going to pump that way back into Courage again. So at least I can do a short-range decoy cast, and then go and do that. So let's go see Sachnar. Actually, I lie. I want to go see Ruthos. The Hollowing. Wraith of Wastes. Alright, so this is the Kogar. Alright, I really want to go see if I can get this rune. It's the last one that I need. I'm not going to do a full rotation. But...
Ancient roots from which you've grown. Voicing seed. Take us home.
Alright, the Siege I don't really mind. I'm probably going to do something very silly, but I'm just going to do the Koga just for this Ruthos. But we'll see. I'm at him if you want a taxi or just the seed that works. Glath, if you want to actually jump in, yeah, you can join for Ruthos, yeah. And then Zargan, did you want to jump in for Ruthos just in case as well? Because I think, yeah, I've got 2 Koga, so I'm actually going to waste 1. But I'm happy to go do like a bit of a run. So we'll do like Ruthos, we'll go down here, do all of these bosses, and then I'll probably finish up at, say, like Nimrod. So I'm going to keep the Wazard and the Mendicant for later, and the Kurlal. Yeah, it won't really work for the moment on that one for you. Let's have a look. Mr. Bjorn. And then just let me know if that that invite came through for you there too. Sweet. Hola, ¿cómo está? Alright, let's go get... Oh, hang on, wait a minute. I've got to activate the Koga before we go up against her. Alrighty. Hopefully we get the rune that we need from her, though. Alright, Braithos, where you at, lady? I am going to be pretty careful with this, though, because I don't want to actually make her explode. Because I do have the Hollowing Rune on this particular weapon. Please give me the rune that I need. That would be phenomenal. Alright, doesn't look like it's done. Is there a reason why, like, everything goes pink? I feel like the settings for the camera have been slightly altered. Alright, there we go. Alright, so that's borderless full screen. I'm going to switch that over to full screen now. It's a little bit of a rough transition, but that's okay. Alright, so going back into the Nightfall, that's good. So the Koga actually still is active now, visually, which is good. So we can go do, yeah, that dungeon, I guess, yeah. Awesome. Wait. That's right. We go into, like, slower mode in Koga. Appreciate the offer. You don't have to pass this time. Playing Skull and Bones. Oh, nice. Weekly reset tonight. Neglected the game for 2 weeks. Oh, and Warframe? Yeah, I know. Me too. I think I'm going to wait, like, just a week before the update drops, which is pretty much like this week, I think. Yeah, it's like December 2nd, but I'll probably, like, get back into it, like, next week. And then, yeah, I'll be playing the old piece as well. It seems really cool. Oh, Skull and Bones is the game that you're playing? Yeah. Oh, okay, I see what you mean now. Wow, okay, so like the slower... We've been slowed down a little bit more than usual. Okay. Gotcha, gotcha. Cool. So Koga mode seems to have been fixed up a little bit with the visual showing, or not like rendering properly with the transition to the night bulb. So that's nice. Most epic games compilations. Hello. Quick question. Of course, I've reforged my weapon of Blastronery that can change the achievement to courage. But when I took a new version of the weapon, I can still see spirit achievement icon. Yes. I'll show you what I mean too. I've been doing that myself. So I have been like having a look at it and I'm like, hang on a minute, like that's a courage based weapon or that's a spirit based weapon. Say for example, like I've done that with the Odiak myself. I've switched this one over to courage, but it still shows like the 2 dots of like spirit achievement. So I know that that's not correct, but I think because those are like little icons, they haven't necessarily been like fleshed out just yet. But this one is spirit, so that's showing normally, and then I've actually reattuned the Estelle over to courage as well, but it's still showing the 2 spirit dots, but it does actually work with courage. I can tell by the amount of like damage that I've got. Whoa. I feel like I've just transitioned out of the world and I'm now seeing the light. Okay. Let's try unstuck. Pray for me. Oh, wow, okay. There we go. Thank you for the resurrection. I was seeing the light. That's funny. It's exactly the weapon I reforged. Oh, nice, yeah. Yeah, Odiak on Tetherin is absolutely sensational. The voltaic damage that it produces is really good. And that's exactly the reason why I thought, you know what? I'm actually going to go and play with the Estelle as a secondary weapon, attuned to courage as well. Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. You can basically cast your Fellist on Tetherin, and you've got like 5 hits to go on, like, say, even like the Koga Nimrod, and it just completely annihilates enemies. So it's pretty crazy. I like the fact that they've given us like an overall visual representation of the Koga mode too. This is great. But yeah, most epic. The damage output with Tetherin with any weapon at the moment is ridiculous. And funny enough, also speaking of different like pack setups, the greatswords with the Hand of Mora works really, really well too. There's a lot of choice to choose from. Alright, little Sparrow Man, where are you taking me, bud? No? Okay. Cool. Have you been finding most of the, are you using Purity for Greatsword? Dude, Purity with its, like, fluidity of how well it moves is sensational. I have no negatives on the Purity. It's very good. I have been playing with, like, the Paragon one. Not as much of a fan of it, in all honesty, but, I mean, with all, like, the updates and the hotfixes that are coming through, I'm sure something's going to happen where we'll be able to get a little bit more smoothness happening with all the weapons that we've seen come into the game too. Come on, Flappy Man. Where are you taking me, bud? Boom. How are ya? Thank you so much. I'm hopelessly addicted to Soulframe now. You're very welcome. I'm glad that you're as addicted as I am. It's very good. What I just did there was using the hollowing rune as well. I'll give you guys a rundown on this rune. If you haven't found it yet, it's absolutely sensational. I would give a bit of feedback on it though. If you're looking to farm runes and you actually mark an enemy with your magic weapon and you make them explode, it actually deletes the entire instance of that enemy plus anything it's carrying. So do be careful if you're using it. Played with Paragon, but I disliked it. It's like attacking with a napkin compared to Purity. Epic, I do believe and agree with you on that one. I think the Paragon Greatsword, I feel like it could use a bit of a tweak to be on like the same level as the Purity Greatsword. I agree on that. It's definitely like using a goddamn napkin. But look, it's only just been released, so hopefully we can see a few achievements in like the next couple of weeks for a lot of the newer weapons and the totems as well. Purity with plus 25, minus 15 to parry, and plus 25 to throw is great. And Kogan build. Yeah, I can see that happening. Personally, I think what I would prefer, I think even though that you do get more damage output, which is always a really good choice, I would probably even say joinery-wise, you are losing 5 points of damage, but you do get lifesteal. But then to satiate that issue, you could even just chuck on your, where is it? The Koga Lorcan, which is attack plus 5, which is good. That one's stagger, and then I think this one's attack as well. So the Koga Lorcan can kind of like minimize the gap between having that extra 5% damage. I think the throw with the greatsword is pretty good, but I mean, some of the totems can actually work really well with throw damage as well. So yeah, I mean, like there's plenty of options to go around, which is really nice. I think it's because Purity have triple star courage achievement. I would agree on that too, yeah. The fact that it does have a triple achievement into courage is very worthwhile. I would have assumed though, because the Paragon pack had the Paragon Greatsword, I would hope that the Paragon Greatsword would have greater stats out of all of the different Greatswords at the moment, because it is like the unique Paragon pack weapon, you know? Where Purity is certainly sensational. So, I ended up splurging on the Wilder Shelter. Hell yeah, you did. That's awesome. Got the Oracle Armor Set, the Earthroot, and Odiak. Early game, I feel so powerful. You definitely would, especially with the Earthroot staff and the Odiak. The Odiak is an exceptionally good weapon. I really, really enjoy them, to be honest. Where are they? Yeah, the Odiak are, like, sensational. I've got two different types. So I've got the Spirit-based attunement, and then I've got the Courage-based attunement. I put the Feybolt Blessed by More Joinery on it after I'd ranked it to max rank 30. It tunes to Courage. It gives you 20%, 20 plus consecutive attack damage, but also it gives you throw distance as well. But it also synergizes really well with the attack totem that can come across at a 3-star gold. But then also the voltaic damage that it has. It works really well with Tetherin. It just deletes enemies. It's a very, very good weapon. As of the Estelle, so I've actually done the same thing with Estelle. I've attuned it with the Blessed by Mora Courage joinery. But I am going to be finding a Feybolt Blessed by Mora and attaching that to this particular weapon as well, just so it can have this same consecutive attack damage plus 20 and then the throw distance plus 5, which is really nice. But I've got this on the Gildor at the moment just for a little bit of lifesteal, so it's working pretty well. Where do runes drop? There's two different variants of runes. Most epic, you can go through and find all of the bosses in Midrath. But then once you've achieved a level in the game where you can go and do the Koga mode, it's pretty easy to run. You basically just level up Verminia to level 2, and she will start crafting the mushrooms, which are the agaric mushrooms that you get as drops from the bosses that you come up against. But also just collecting the Weatherwood sap from the Weatherwood seeds. come here. Alright, let's go see if we can quickly find an enemy. I want to keep invisible forever. Although we are a lot slower now in the Koga event too. Hey, bud. There we go. And invisible death again. This totem, the flit smoke, is again another ridiculously overpowered and overtuned totem at the moment. It's actually pretty fun. That works well. That thing got variety that works. Are you talking about the Paragon sword, Zargan? I was impressed with Paragon. Yeah, not top tier. Yeah. I think as far as say like the scaling of say purity and its effectiveness, the Paragon greatsword unfortunately doesn't meet or match as well as what the Paragon greatsword does. I love how it makes you float midair. Which the Paragon greatsword Bergome, or are you talking about the Odiac gauntlets when you attack in the air? The three-way achievement of the Paragon sword makes it not scale as well. Yeah, indeed. I think because they diversified it into the three different virtues. It doesn't scale as well, unfortunately. Zargan, Paragon also not attuned to one virtue, where purity is. Indeed, yeah. So not sure if it might make a difference. I would say that it would. It kind of like muddies the water of that particular weapon being like overall powerful. Like it seems like it's beneficial. But when you drain courage, spirit, and grace souls, the three colors, and it powers up the weapon, I think it gives it like plus 10 points to every part of those virtues, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Oh, it's 120 boosted damage, right. 40 roughly per smite color. Okay, yeah, that's what I was thinking. I didn't even read that, and we were on the same page. Okay, so that makes sense. Okay, so let's go have a look at puzzle time. Oh, this one. Alright. I'll see you later. I'm taking my dinghy. I'll be back in a sec. I wanted to go fishing, that's all. But that's basically how to do this puzzle. Which I really like. I like the fact that they've actually been putting more puzzles like this into the game, which is nice. Wouldn't let you do it? It's because I'm the host, that's why. So, still within co-op, there's still a lot to be fleshed out where it comes to, like, the visibility of certain things. So, like, puzzles, chests, sometimes loot. So yeah, the spawning of stuff can be a little bit janky, still, very much so. It is super bright though, Jesus Christ. Let's have a look. Let's do balance. We're going to take off the volumetric fog. Thank Christ for vision in the game. Alright, and we've got a lot of graphical, like, ping-pong with enemy bodies. That's great. Awesome. Like, literally raggy doll. That's cool. No? No raggy doll? Okay. Not purity. Paragon's mid-tier. Yeah. It's really not all that great. The Paragon Greatsword at the moment, unfortunately. I mean, look, I don't even have to equip them, and I can show you. Purity, at, like, a rank 0, its attack damage is 107. Oh, wait, sorry, this is the Purity. Rank 17, there's 150 damage, where the Paragon at level 12 is only 98. and its attunement is spread between all the virtues. Really not comparable, unfortunately. Like, purity is absolutely sensational. So, it's very interesting to see that purity is so powerful, and the Paragon, like, unique greatsword is really not as nice. It's still cool, but yeah, I don't think it really jams as well with so many people, especially when everyone, generally I came across and had a conversation with about purity being put into the game, was super excited about it too. So I have to say, in that instance of like the guys at Soulframe adding purity greatsword to be in the game and to have it such good stats, let's just leave it alone. It doesn't need to be changed. It is perfect as it is. So yeah, we can leave purity alone and just all agree that it is a very good greatsword and it is perfect the way that it needs to be. I wonder if you just need to use a blessed joinery. A blessed joinery, yeah, I mean, like, that's what they're for, but I mean, you may actually lose the capability of being able to tune it into like the different joineries, so that is definitely something to note. But in all honesty, I wouldn't want to be able to, I don't know if you can actually change the attunement of the virtues on the actual weapon itself though too, because it seems to be the only weapon in the game that has that uniqueness to it. So because it's a unique weapon, I'm not even sure if it will actually even let you do that. Ben, where are you hiding, my friend? Excuse me, Ben, come here. I really feel like that should be the ultimate of
Ashen allies.
the Hand of Mora.
My torch.
I really do. I think that would be really cool. Instead of having the third ability that we do, just basically summon like the Spirit of Fenyota and be able to summon the Igne Mora on fire. I think that would be really cool. And we've got more little bing bings. That's hilarious. Of the gravitational ping pong. Spoiled, indeed. I think the combat system has definitely leveled up this particular update. It's a lot more fluid, I have to admit that. Excuse me, sir. Come here. I wish to do something repeatedly to you. I want to turn invisible and kill you. Hello. Goodbye. Alrighty, I do like the fact that the Koga mode does change our vision now too. Bjorn, are you seeing the same results as well, being in part of Koga? Like it's changed your whole entire color screen? Or like our visuals at least? So like you can still kind of see like color a little bit, but it's more like of a purpley haze. No, okay. Maybe it's just my GPU having a moment. Because yeah, I've definitely got like a purpley filter like look to my game at the moment. I'm actually not mad at it though. It is since we entered Koga though. So maybe it is something that is doing something funky. It could be something to do with co-op though too. I really am tempted to play with the greatsword, but I don't think I will. Alright, so where does this pull us out? Right, so this drops us off near the imp. So there's an exit here, eh? Okay. And then which one? We just took the upper dungeon? Okay, so that's cool. So that's good to know. So this will bring us out the imp, so that's good. So you could do all of these guys, run over here, drop down here. You can go over there. So there should be other dungeons then that we can come through near here to be able to complete this southern end of the map. Cool. Alright. I'm just going to switch over to Nightbolt for a sec. Alright. Alright. Yeah, I've still got that purpley effect happening, so it must be part of the Koga then. Alright, I'm keen to see how this works against the imp too. I'm probably not going to be doing as much damage though, I'll admit that. Alright, Impity Duda. Come on, headshot. That'll do it. That's probably more you there, Bjorn, than me. Come on. Come over here. Alright, so 4-burn definitely drops from this dude, like, quite consistently as well, which is good. Alright, so what do we got? We got the, Nimrod's available. I guess we could go do the Kernhold. Because I don't really need those guys. But I'm trying to figure out where is the other, like, Rule Seeker style enemy. For the last sigil that, or rune that I was looking for. It's the one that applies itself to the bows. I feel like it'll be down in one of these areas because the other spider mom is here. There's a Glades of Anduin, and then there's like another Dermak Undercity over this way as well. So I'd be curious to see how it works. Nope on which Bjorn? I would think he's in the Undercity, but don't know where he is. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I have a feeling it'll be one of like the mid-range tile sets, I would say. So I know that there's a spider bomb who dropped the rune that I've got, the Flit Smoke rune, this one. Even though the patch note said, hey, it drops with Etheldred, which is the very northwestern boss up here. So I would have us say, perhaps what we could do is go do Fort Kernhold, and then go and seek out the Dermak as well. I think it's just there. Because I know that there's a Glades and there's a Dermak Undercity entrance down here, I believe. And then the Glades, sorry, the Neathan's entrance is just in here. I would say that the spider bosses would share the same loot pool, yeah. Because the patch notes do state that it's Etheldred, but I thought, I want to go try out the new Sachnal boss. And funny enough, as soon as I killed her, she dropped down the Flitsmoke rune, which is the one that Etheldred is supposed to be dropping. So I would not be surprised if the bosses on the opposite side in Koga, if you go do the Gruul Seeker, she just drops what she drops. But then if we go find the other dude who's a Gruul Seeker, I feel like he will be the one that drops the that bow rune. So what am I looking at here? So I'm just having a look at the debuffs that we have. So we get less speed, we get less health, and I'm assuming that we get less armor overall. But I mean, Bromius Pact actually works still very effectively in Koga, that's for sure. Absolute deletion. That absolutely is insane. God damn, she hits like a truck. And she's deleted. That's hilarious. Okay, so the good thing about the hollowing is that it does say applied as a mark on an enemy, but the only negative to it is that if they do drop agaric mushrooms and stuff, even runes, it will actually delete everything but the actual item that you need to move forward. So I'm very dubious to continue maintaining the hollowing on. Like, it's amazing in mobs, but not if you're farming for something that's very specifically special, like runes. So I'm going to actually take that off just in case, and just replace it with the Arcstorm. And then I'm going to put the physical armor back on. So deflections bypass armor. That's okay. So that's one of the newer totems that's come in. I am going to put some magic armor on. And then I'm going to maintain just the attack speed again. So it is more of like the original build that I have coming through. But I'm thinking what I might do is just chuck the Estelle back on and keep the Arcstorm on these as well. Which will be nice. Absolutely crazy damage with that rune though. Absolutely crazy. Alright, so we've got the dudes up there. Nice. And we've got a yeet factor. That was awesome. Pretty cool. Well, I'd probably say you're right on that one. Like, with sharing the loot table pools of bosses, I would only assume that that's the actual... Oh, look, it's Human Centipede. I think that's the only thing that I can think of as well that would allow for the runes to drop to the way that they did for me. Nice, Jam. You got Garen Rude. You'll have to let me know what you think of it. It's an interesting pack, I'll say that. But I think just with the changes of it, it's not as fun as it used to be. Time to die a lot? Not necessarily. Just know that, like, your health is determined by... Or, like, the return of health is determined by the amount of health pool that you have. But also the damage done to an enemy is also dependent on their level as well. The Torment. What the hell? Holy, he can really dash. Okay. It's a shame that we can't use the Mora's hand to be able to burn this stuff anymore. Oh, you can't pick up torches? Okay. So I've got max rank Kitha King's experience. I don't believe that. Until I see it. I think what we can do... Let's go check out the Undercity. And see if we can get that other enemy to spawn there. Tee-hee. You can still get these torches out. Oh, man. Oh, sweet. Okay, good. I didn't want to lose my torch. This is still one of my most favorite things to do, to be honest. Incineration. I don't know why, but this is actually always something that's extremely satisfying to do. Steal the torch outside of the castle and just go kill stuff. It does very minimal damage, but what actually does do damage is the actual flame damage. The torch isn't even classed as a weapon damage target. I just stuck that into that dude and it cooked him. How funny. The torches will go away after a little while though. But it's just fun to do. Yo, she got yeeted all the way there. That was awesome. There is some really funky stuff going on with the gravity in game at the moment. Okie dokie. Let's go see if we can go into the Undercity to see if we can get that other Gruul Seeker. I have a feeling it'll be one of these tile sets for sure. But I definitely feel like I move a lot slower though. Yeah, I definitely feel a lot slower. But the torches don't really all do that much though, Jam. Like, the flame damage is what actually damages. You're moving at walking speed? Nah. This is the run. This is walking. So I'm not exactly sure. Sliding? Yeah, it's probably something to do with being a co-op again. And granted too, like, I mean, I'm in Australia as well, so it's like very sluggish. So the game probably just hasn't, like, got me up to speed, unfortunately. Literally. So I basically just have to slowly run around everywhere. Which is okay. It's more immersive, I guess. So this is the Glades entrance. So I know that there's a Dermak one around there, I'd say. So this is the Glades of Andoran. So we might as well actually just go in here. Who drops the Odiak rune? Generally, it will be the Nimrod. But normal Nimrod now doesn't necessarily appear all that much. Martyr is now a global, universal boss for everyone that rotates every 6 hours in a randomized location around the map. And that's the only way to go fight Nimrod outside of the Discharge Nimrod. which I think is actually pretty cool. I'm loving this gravitational issue. This is really funny. I'm very tempted to reapply the harrowing, or like, sorry, the hollowing rune back onto this weapon, but I'm very mindful of stripping ourselves of really good stuff. And plus the Arcstorm rune does a lot of voltaic damage anyway. So I'm kind of getting like a debuff on the enemies, especially with the voltaic damage output, but then also the arcanic damage from this weapon itself. So it's pretty much like double dipping on like 2 different damage types, which is nice. Hey, bud. Alright, so we got 1, 2, and then 3, 4. Excellent work. Hopefully we get the other boss that we're looking for. I wonder if just... Piranha's fix it. Okay, Glamour doesn't really fix the issue of my my speed, unfortunately. That's alright. So this should be where either the imp spawn or that Ruthos enemy, but I can certainly see someone up ahead, so I think it's the imp enemy. Yeah, it would be. Alright, let's get to work. So I'm glad I changed away from the Harrow, or the Hollowing rune, because if we didn't get that enemy, I feel like it would have actually just disintegrated him fully, which wouldn't be ideal. So this is definitely where the imp will spawn, in the glades. So I feel like it's either one of two bosses that's going to spawn. You'll either have the imp or the doggo. I think they're called... I can't remember exactly what they're called. They were named out in patch notes. Didn't you, Sarah, just put patch notes or hotfix notes up, I think about like 24 to 48 hours ago? The doggos do have a specific name, so their name have been changed away from like Agaric Hunter something to... it'd be kind of funny if it was called Retriever, but it's not. But you either get the imp boss or you get the doggo boss in this particular tile set. Now that I think about it, because I actually went and did a solo run yesterday, and I went up against... It's called the Reaper. And it's just like one of the big corrupt infested dogs that will challenge you, but it's got some really cool mechanics though. So I will jump into the Dermak City tile set after this one and just kind of see where things are at. And hopefully we get one of the Gruul Seeker bosses. Awesome. So we do have a Dermak Undercity tile set near here as well, which is nice. I think the Dermak, this is where we get Tubalcani anyway. You just res through the Sparrow? Yeah, I think Koga is still quite buggy, which is not a bad thing. We are supposed to get downed, but unfortunately, or fortunately rather, we don't get downed. We just get resurrected back into the instance, which is good. So I'll just take us through the tile set into the Dermak Undercity, and we'll see if we can get any of these other extra bosses to spawn. So this is the entrance that we originally come to when we go find Tubalcani. So perhaps we'll see if we can find a spawned boss in here. I'm really hoping that we do. You were down in my group? Yeah, it's going to be shifting around quite a bit, so... hang on. Alright, let's go see what we can find. I would probably say too, like with co-op being as like good as it is so far, we've still got like a little bit to go, I would say, when it comes to the smoothness of being in an instance with another player. And do keep in mind, like, I mean, this game's only like 24 months old, so it's like a 2-year-old child. There's a lot to take on, and there's a lot to flesh out, for sure. So not everything is going to be as smooth as what we would anticipate in certain areas, which is understandable too, because it is a brand new update as well. Okay, so it's up here. Oh, we've got Mr. Creepy Man. I wonder if it's that one? Nope. There we go. We've just got the secret door open as well beyond. Goodbye, sir. Oh. You shot my arm. How dare you? Okie dokie. There is another entryway up the top here. Where are we? So Fenyotar, he's hanging around. He should be right in front of you up the stairs there. Oh, Ben. Hey, bud. Okay, so I feel like we're gonna have to go upstairs. Yeah, we are. And then it'll be around to your left. There should be a roller door that you can go through. And we got some sorties there. I love this Arcstone rune. It is so good. I do really enjoy a lot of the secondary, like, rare runes that we can obtain. But some of, like, the later ones, though, they are very broken. And not in a bad way, just extremely powerful. Hey, lady. Ah, okay, so this is Centauro. So I'm going to have to retest this tile set, because I had a feeling it was going to be near 2 the time. So this is the banner rat, okay. Cool. At least that's good to know. So, the Gruul Seeker is probably the other boss that will spawn here. Because we've got 5 new bosses. So we've got technically 2 spiders, 2 of the Gruul Seekers, 2 Bannerets, a doggo, and I think that's pretty much it. Double dance. Cool.
Feel the flames of more
I release you, Fen, even though I didn't
arms
capture you.
entwined in saffron blue. But I cannot.
Alright, cool. So we haven't done the Nathans. But I haven't really found the other Coral Seeker though. And like that Fowler name, I can't quite remember what name it is. We'll see what that means though. Ow. Okay, so that brings us back up to here. I think, guys, what I'm going to do is probably just wrap up for a little bit. Just go grab some lunch, etc. And then I'll reconfigure a few bits and pieces for this afternoon. But Bjorn, thank you very much for the run. It's been absolute treasure having you in game as well. It's been really, really fun, to be honest. So we'll do a little a Koga bow as well. So that's pretty dope. So I'll chuck all of these into Discord. Probably like later tonight as well, and then I will be able to do a little bit more of like the Koga run. So it's good to know that we can find that particular boss in that area location, the one that is next to Ms. Tubalkane. So I've got some notes to actually put down, which will be nice. So all right, I will wrap up here, but I will see you guys more likely like within, I would probably say, in like the later time frame. As well, so I would probably say I'll probably be doing another stream later tonight again as well. So I will see you guys then. Rehydrate, sleep, eat, do all the good things for yourselves, and I will see you. Ciao for now.